Hi, my name is Mark Shay, and I'm a realtor with Keller Williams. I run a team that we call the Pocono Vacation Home Sales. What you're about to see are some of our clients who are here at the 2026 Poconos STR Conference, and they'll give you a little bit of their stories and tell a little bit about their business development and how short-term rental in Poconos has worked out well for them. So enjoy. All right, Ruslan, tell me a little bit about, you have a number of successful short-term rentals up here in the Poconos, and what has been, without giving all away your secrets, what is it that makes your properties do so well up here?
Well, we started the business 13 years ago as a hobby, and we haven't even tracked our income for the first 6 months. It was doing something, it was renting somehow, and then we calculated our profits, and we're like, oh wow, we made a little bit of money. It was like 40 grand for, it was back in 2013. So then we paid some attention to this business, and probably this is a good place to start and grow. And it was the second and third house, and probably answering your question is we try to stay on top of the market, and instead of competing with the huge group like that, we took a niche on a
top of the line. I think in many ways you've got properties that are in that top 10%.
Yeah, some of them do stand out, but the size, amenities, back in the days, we started from having hot tubs. Really, nobody almost had hot tubs. So we were just scanning the market.
Everybody's got hot tubs.
Now, hot tub is a must, even in small cabins. But then we're like, oh, what else is there? The saunas, the above-ground pools in the beginning, then in-ground pools, and we started to, having some equipment, and we were installing them for ourselves, which made it much cheaper, so we could spend money buying some other properties. And it's still the same. Now it's just the game has stepped up a little. We're trying to buy larger parcels, develop them, build a few, at a
built
time.
Up nice homes. I sold one of them.
So not only for sale and for ourselves. So that's probably it. And having a reliable team. I don't live around here. I live in New York, so I don't come too often. So
it's a 2-hour drive.
Well, yeah, I cannot, address guest complaints, and I need somebody to take care of it. So I have a reliable team of cleaners. I have a little bit of structure. So I have a manager who oversees all the cleaners. I have a few maintenance guy. One of them is a chief. So people work by themselves, and even sometimes when I go on vacation, some of them pretty long and across the globe for a month, the system still works and people know what they're doing.
That's good. Yeah. And your properties seem to be 5-star. You seem to do very well. Yeah. I think I've shown some of those listings to people, and the unique features like a couple of indoor pools. Yeah,
I'm building the third one and fourth at the same time. So that's kind of a new reality.
Away2pa.com.
Yeah.
Right, so take a look at some beautiful houses and see Ruslan's work. And
thank you.
Thanks for being a client.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm here with Mason, and Mason's a client. He has an active short-term rental, bought in Pocono Farms, bought a place that seemed to be turnkey, but then you discovered it wasn't quite there, was it?
Yeah, definitely. There was a lot of, wasn't so much structural items, the structure was fine. There was a lot of work that needed to be done in terms of design and furnishing, and it was actually an existing Airbnb, and there was definitely, as we got into the property, I could see why they were kind of struggling a little bit. They had purchased the property a few years ago, and bookings were down a little bit as there became more competition in the Poconos market, and which gave an opportunity for us to do some value add.
And you're in Pocono Farms, and some people worry that the Pocono Farms is not the best place to rent, but you seem to be proving them wrong.
Yeah, so Pocono Farms, I think the biggest complaint about Pocono Farms is the HOA fees, but I think that I kind of look at that actually, I have a contrarian point of view, I guess, in the sense of, the STRs in Pocono Farms, they make up a smaller percentage of the inventory there, but they make up such a large outsized portion of the HOA fees in Pocono Farms that I don't ever have to worry about them outlawing STRs or anything like that, because you wouldn't bite the hand that feeds. They make up so much of the revenue in that community that and a lot of the neighbors are very STR friendly. Like my neighbors, they're just a text message away, and they're very friendly.
And they look out for you then.
Yeah,
right?
they're always looking out. I'm always looking out for them, and make sure that everything is good. And the first thing your neighbors are so important in that journey. Is the first thing I did when we purchased that property is delivered cookies to both of them with handwritten notes. That was the first thing we did right after closing, was delivered cookies. And your neighbors are super important. The one thing that I have also noticed in Pocono Farms is that the entry level properties are a little bit harder to run with those fees, but you can really do really well with a more higher end property. So that's why when we were doing our design, we made sure to keep that in mind, to try to attract more of a higher price point to be able to accommodate for those higher HOA fees.
But you are a 2-bed or 3-bed?
So yeah, that was a good one. So that was part of our strategy, our positioning. So it was a 3-bedroom property, but we actually found that the 2 bedrooms in that area actually performed better than the 3 bedrooms. If you could take a 2-bedroom, so what we did is we took out one of the bedrooms and turned it into a movie room, and we've gotten rave reviews about the movie room, and everybody loves our movie room with the big screen TV and our sound system and the reclining leather chairs. So try to make it a little bit more of a luxury experience versus more of a heads and beds theory, which works in certain markets, but probably not that market.
Or in certain size. We definitely have been seeing 3 bedrooms have lost some of their attractiveness to people who want to invest. And one option is because you had a chalet with a loft.
Yep. Yeah.
And so there was that room to take back, and then sort of not call it a bedroom anymore.
Yeah. It definitely seemed that you wanted to be in the 5 bedrooms or larger, or 2 bedrooms or smaller. You want like a big house that you can host multiple families and like large groups, or you want to be like that cute, cozy little chalet or log cabin. And so we were going more for like the cute, cozy chalet type vibe.
And you hired a design firm. They came in, they gave you some recommendations, and you kind of roughly, what did you invest in your property?
Yeah, so all in for the design itself wasn't too bad. It was about $8,000 to hire a professional designer, and from that we basically had down to click here and press buy, a list of everything on Amazon. And we were getting so many Amazon packages. We were actually living in the Poconos for about 3 months just to take all the packages in and be able to implement their design. But we got a shopping sheet, they call it, and it's basically every single little fork, knife, lamp stand, bed stand, and you just click the link and you press buy, and that was immensely helpful in the onboarding process for the property. Then with all the furnishings, and we also did a lot of work on the exterior. We put in putting greens. We built a gazebo over our hot tub, and we put in like pathways. Working with STR cribs actually, and that all in all, between the down payment, the furnishings, and the improvements to the outside, we were just under $100,000 into the property.
Gotcha. But you were telling me earlier that you're booked almost solid over the summer.
Yeah, summer was insane right off the bat. We were probably 90% occupancy over the summer. A little bit slower now to be expected in the Poconos market. Now March is, the next couple months we're going to ramp up for the summer again and do a couple more improvements that we didn't quite have the timeline to do last summer. So we're hoping to be able to come back to some of those items that we were hoping to do previously and didn't get around to doing.
Gotcha. And so you had a good experience working with us.
Yep.
You're up and running.
Yep.
You feel like you're a proud host?
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
You're going to do this again?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're already looking for the next property. So some background, I actually own all long-term rentals prior to this property. This is my first short-term rental, and hopefully the first of many.
Well, and I'm going to sign off, but you'll go on and talk a little bit about the tax business that you help people with, because Mason has mastered this STR loophole stuff. And if there's ever anybody you want to ask, it's this guy.
Yeah, so there's just been a huge influx with the changes in tax law. There's been a huge influx of inquiries from high-income earners about this STR tax loophole and being able to take advantage of bonus depreciation to offset some of your income from your day job. So historically, you have to have this thing called real estate professional status, but with the short-term rentals, there's actually an ability to be able to use bonus depreciation to offset active income from your day job, whether that be whether you're in sales or you're an attorney or a doctor. There's a lot of really great opportunities to make sure you're not, giving any more money than you need to Uncle Sam.